Good morning, Temple University. I'm happy to welcome you all to this opening session of Organic Chemistry 2202. It's really gratifying to see you all here so early and eager for such a difficult class. That's not what you thought you were here for? You're in the wrong room? Don't worry, you're in the right place. And I can feel your anticipation. In a few minutes, you'll have the pleasure not only of meeting, but of conversing with one of the most artistically talented human beings and communicators on the planet. First thing I want to ask you, though, is please turn or silence your cell phones, please. My name's David Boardman. I'm the Dean of the School of Media and Communication here at Temple. Thank you. It's our great honor today to host the renowned comedian, actor, writer, director, producer, and philanthropist, Tina Fey. We will honor her this afternoon with our Lew Klein Excellence in the Media Award, and she graciously and enthusiastically agreed to meet with you all this morning. This student conversation is a tradition of the Lew Klein Awards, thanks to the generous sponsorship of Temple University Television and Temple alumnus Cal Rudman and his wife, Lucille. Please join me in thanking them. The conversation is an opportunity through which you and your predecessors have met with such luminaries as Anderson Cooper, Matt Lauer, and Whoopi Goldberg. We've had some big stars, but never one bigger than today's guest. And never has there been such a special connection to our school and to our university. You see, although she attended the University of Virginia, Ms. Fey has Philly Street cred and some serious Temple DNA. She grew up in Upper Darby and graduated from high school there. In fact, we're pleased to have some students from her alma mater here to greet her. Can they please acknowledge themselves, the Upper Darby people? They're here somewhere. All right. Ms. Fey's late father, Donald Fey, graduated from our journalism program with a degree in 1966. Two of her uncles went here, and her older brother, Peter, who's here with us today in the hall, also graduated from Temple. Peter, where are you, if you would stand? There he is. Peter graduated from SMC in 1984, and he's an executive at the pioneering media network QVC. The man Ms. Fey credits for helping her land her gig at Saturday Night Live, Oscar-winning screenwriter Adam McKay, is a Temple Owl. So she's practically one of us. In fact, she's certainly an honorary owl, having benefited our school in the most profound and personal fashion. When their father died last fall, Tina and Peter established a scholarship fund in his name. That fund, which is now well into the six figures, will benefit veterans who, just as Don Fey did, come study in our school after their military service. We're enormously grateful to the Fey family for this gift, so please join me in thanking them. The list of Tina Fey's achievements is long enough to fill the rest of this hour, so I'll just highlight a few. 8 Emmy Awards, 2 Golden Globe Awards, 5 Screen Actors Guild Awards, 4 Writers Guild of America Awards, Associated Press Entertainer of the Year, Time Magazine's 100 Most Influential People in the World, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, a New York Times best-selling book, and later today, a Louis. But if you've read Tina Fey's book, Bossy Pants, as I know many of you have, you know not only is she whip-smart and hilariously funny, she somehow keeps connected with the rest of us mortals. She exhibits a healthy self-awareness, a humility, and a humanity, what we might all call her inner Delco, that makes her stand out from the rest of the mega celebrities and is a huge part of her popular appeal. So it is my true honor and pleasure to introduce you to the one and only Tina Fey. So I'll start off with a question or two, and I'll give you all a chance to line up at these two microphones to ask yours. When it comes time to ask yours, please identify yourself by your name and your major, and then ask a brief, emphasis on brief, question. So go ahead and you can start lining up at the mics. So Tina.
Hi. Mic check. My mic's working good. Yeah, okay.
Thanks again for taking the time from your enormously busy life to be here. And one of my favorite parts of your book was your chapter about your dad. Certainly we have a profound connection to him, and I'd love for you to talk a little bit about him and the influence that he had on your career.
Sure. Thank you for saying so about that chapter in the book. It's actually my favorite chapter, too. I think, he's the old school Philadelphia badass. West Philadelphia, born and raised, right? Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was based on him. Not many people know that. But yeah, my dad was a man of many talents, and I really think of a Philadelphian by nature in that way of just like wanted to learn things, but also like just knew the value of hard work and having a job, and wasn't kind of from like any kind of waspy, Ivy League world, just from like West Philly. And I think he really impressed upon me and my brother a work ethic, a high standard that is important, and has like I think also people underestimate how valuable it is to have a dad that you're just a little bit scared of, right? Like I have two daughters. They are not scared of me. They are not scared of my husband. Like I hope they achieve in life without that, but it was just having someone in your life that you always knew was expecting a lot of you, and that you wanted to live up to that for him, and I think that is a good thing for a kid.
That's great. Well, you know what? I had more questions. I'm going to just ask one more quick one because we have so many here. Cheesesteaks, with or without?
I'm provolone.
Oh, all right.
I'm not a whiz. No whiz.
Okay, let's start right over there. Again, your name, your major, and a brief question.
Okay. My name's Claudia, and my major is media studies and production. And I want to first say that how big of an inspiration you are to me, and how your career on SNL and your role as Liz Lemon has helped me decide what I wanted to do with my life. Excellent. Which I want to write for TV. Yeah, and also I'm Greek, by the way, so.
Good job.
Yep, good job. And so my question is, what advice could you give to someone like me who's aspiring to be a TV writer?
If you're aspiring to be a TV writer, I think you can probably, unlike when I was in college, you can probably actually study writing in that form, right? You can probably learn how to write a spec. Watch a lot of TV,
I do that, yeah.
Which is all the advice anyone wants. And as you're starting out, I mean, I came at it through the world of comedy and improv comedy, and kind of always wanted to also be a performer. One thing I would say is, even if you don't want to perform, you only want to write, find a way to make yourself try performing in some format, because it makes you kind of more empathetic to, or sympathetic to, actors and what you're kind of asking them to do. Do you want to write comedy or like comedy, Scandal?
Yeah. Like basically, I want to be Liz Lemon.
Okay.
Basically, yeah.
Get some bootcut jeans. Yeah. So I would recommend that you kind of go check out someplace like the Upright Citizens Brigade. Yeah. Watch things that you like. Think about why you like them, and just start writing and start getting your writing in front of some form of audience, whether it's YouTube or live. Because if you're trying to write comedy, the only way to truly test it is to see if people laugh at it.
Okay. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Hello. Hi. My name's Leah Murray. I'm a junior journalism major with a minor in history, and I just want to thank you so much because, like she said, I've been so inspired by you. I watch 30 Rock like every day, and I love Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt and SNL. You're incredible, and I really do want to be like you. And I just was wondering if you would sign my copy of Bossy Pants.
Yes, let's find a way. Let's find a place where you can like leave it or something, right? So that we don't go. Yeah, and we'll get it back to you. Excellent.
Thank you so much.
Sure. should go back and forth.
Hi,
Yes.
Tina.
Hello.
I'm a huge fan. My
Thank
name's
you.
Clarissa. I'm a master's student here in the English program. And my question that I have for you, kind of speaking on behalf of everyone, is what advice do you have for the new incoming freshmen as well as the people who are about to graduate for the quote-unquote real world?
Oh, advice for the real world?
Have a sense of humor?
Have a sense of humor. Spend your money on a monthly bus pass, like an unlimited bus pass. That was when I graduated from Virginia. I moved to Chicago right away, and I worked at a YMCA from like 5:30 in the mornings too, and then used that money to take improv classes and to buy a monthly bus train pass. That was all I could do. I mean, I guess I would say you have a little bit of time to try things as long as you can kind of make your rent, and don't bother your parents for money if you can help it. Weirdly, as much as I love Pennsylvania and Philadelphia, for me, I felt like moving away from home was it helps you stand on your own, and it helps you feel like you can try things you might have been scared to try at home. So everybody move away.
Absolutely. And also another thing, I was wondering if I can have you have a video of saying hello to my mother. 'Cause she's a huge fan.
What is her name?
Alicia Singer.
Hi, Alicia Singer. How are you? This is really how tiny I am. This video was taken up very close. Yeah. Hi.
Hi, my name is Avery. I'm a sophomore communication studies major, and I was just wondering what it was like kind of getting into the TV and production business for you.
I started, like I said, in theater in Chicago, and then my first TV job was working as a writer at Saturday Night Live, and so that kind of, yes, SNL. I had a theater background from Upper Darby Summer Stage. Anybody? Right? And the thing that was and is awesome about Upper Darby Summer Stage is you go and you learn every department, you paint sets, you work in costumes, and you do the same thing in college theater, and it makes you understand like what you're asking people to do. So if you write a sketch at SNL and you are talking to the costume designer about what you need, or you're just a little bit less likely to be a dick. Like you're just like you respect the different jobs on the set, and so even if it's a new one, even if you're trying to learn about camera switching and different stuff, you come into it from a point of view of like, I understand that everyone's doing their job today, and we're all working on this together, and I'm not like mama's. We used to refer to like certain kind of writers as like mommy's special bar mitzvah boy. You know, like you're one of a team. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Holly. I'm a freshman media studies and production major. And there's been talk of a Mean Girls musical, and I wanted to know how involved you are in this and what it's like to transition back to theater after spending so much time working with TV.
It's hugely exciting. We're very excited about it, and everyone told us it would take years and years, and we're like, no, we're going to bang this out, and it has taken like 5 or 6 years, but there was a little social media announcement on October 3rd that we are going to be taking the show out of town to Washington, D.C. this coming fall, like the fall of 2017. And so I'm very excited about it. I am writing what's called the book, which is a fascinating process because you're writing the talking parts between the songs, but you're also kind of collaborating with the lyricist, who is in this case Nell Benjamin, and the composer was my husband, Jeff Richmond. You're kind of talking about like, well, what should be a song? So you're kind of everyone's working together. But yeah, keep your eyes. I think we have some social media handles like, I'm so old, like Mean Girls DC on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow it, and then when we have an official announcement about more stuff, you guys can come down and buy tickets and see previews of you. But yeah, look for it, fall of 17 in DC.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Brianna. I'm a media studies and production major, and I'm currently doing a project on women in entertainment. And I know you've been very involved with women's rights, especially in this industry. So I was wondering if you had anything to say about the topic, or like any advice for young women going into the industry like myself.
Mm-hmm. I think the advice that I would give is to and some I do a little bit of this in Bossy Pants, but the advice I would give, especially to people who are actors, which maybe not in your case, but like to try to also become producers, because if you can work your way up to being a producer, you just have a little more say in things, and the more female directors and producers and showrunners there are, the better the situations will be. It's when you're kind of going into a room where it's 20 men and only one woman, where it's just organically, it's going to be out of balance. A good example is a really talented woman that I worked with recently, Margot Robbie, who's so rad. Yeah. And she's really cool, and she has formed a production company. Like, Margot is this beautiful 26-year-old Australian actress. She could easily just be a beautiful actress, but she's very smart, and she knows, like, no, I want to make the movies I want to make. And being a producer is mostly just planning ahead and talking to people. It's like, you should, if you feel like, oh, I couldn't do that, you should know that you could do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Hi, I'm Quadri, and I'm a media studies and production major. So my question is, there's been a lot of talk about the influence that shows like The Daily Show and SNL have over election season. So I wanted to know how much impact you think they have over election season and over people's opinions of the candidates.
Mm-hmm.
And two, do you think that you personally, with your Palin impression, had any impact over the 2008 election?
It's an interesting question. It's, you know, I think, because the one that people really raised the question was, and you guys are like too young to remember this in some ways, but when Will Ferrell played George W. Bush, he was so funny, but people were like, oh, did he make W. Bush even more sort of likable and buddish than he was? I know that everyone at SNL goes into writing those pieces not intending to be like, here's where we're going to take them down. We're just trying to find what's funny and what's true, because it's only going to be funny to people, I think, if it rings true to them. If you know, there was that George W. Bush sketch when and Daryl Hammond, who's such a genius, played Al Gore. And they had a debate sketch, and Al Gore just kept talking about how he was going to put Social Security in a lockbox. And it just like was this little thing that people were like hooked into, and like, yeah, that guy was a nerd. Like, it was like it was funny because it kind of rang true about what was true with him. And the same thing, like you couldn't, this Palin stuff, it only would work if it sort of seemed true. You can't just take a political person and you can't take, like, you know, God, they all are such a mess. I can't even think of like a reasonable one. I can't think of a neutral one to reference. Like, you can't take, if you couldn't go and say, I'm going to play, you know, Paul Ryan, but I'm going to play him like he's a complete moron who punches his wife, because it's not true, so it wouldn't work as comedy. So I think we don't really sway the election, but sometimes we hook into what people are already feeling, but they haven't put a name to it yet. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Also,
Yeah.
you're an icon, so I just wanted to say that.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi, my name's Tony. I'm a junior advertising major, and I just wanted to know how you feel your time spent in college prepared you for where you are now in your career.
I think I've said that I feel like 70% of what you learn in college is living with roommates and how to be a good person and a thoughtful person when living with roommates. Also, the best college life metaphor I always take away is first thing you learn first year of college is, I'm not going to start peeing till I make contact with toilet paper. That's like such a metaphor of like, I'm going to think about this. I'm going to train myself for preparedness in the workplace. And that said, you know, I think the main reason why it would be pretty great if everyone could go to college and it could be free. Because the other thing that I think is great about college is it teaches you it opens you up to different ways to look at the world and different ways of thinking, and that's important no matter what job you end up going into afterward.
Hi, my name's Giovanna. I'm a senior strat-com major with a focus in PR. And before I start, I just want to say your Philly accent was A1 on SNL.
Thank you.
I'm a South Philly girl, so I was like, yeah, Tina Fey. So when I was in high school, I read Bossy Pants at a time in my life where my self-image wasn't that great. I was struggling with a lot of stuff, so it helped me a lot. And I just want to thank you for that.
I'm glad.
First and foremost. So I want to get into a really male-dominated career. I want to go into PR. What is your advice on how to stay true to yourself and how not to get insecure and try to change, especially when all you see is like Kim Kardashian and highlight and contour and big butts? How do you do that?
That's a very valid question. But I will say I know some very, very smart and powerful women who work in PR. So if you find a way to get me your email and I'll try to hook you up. And at least with a conversation, I ain't gonna drop it. How do you stay true to yourself? Never move to Los Angeles. There's some places where like the place makes you crazy. You're like, should I wear like denim cutoffs and Ugg boots to work? Like, the answer's no. Have a good, strong community of female friends. I think because I'm 46 now, and like a fair amount of I have like a text chain that's me, Amy Poehler, Maya Rudolph, Rachel Dratch, Anna Gasteyer, Paula Pell, all the women we worked with us now, and we chat every day about different stuff. And like at least once a week, there's sort of like nobody's getting Botox, right? Just checking. We're still good on. We still okay. Are we sure about that? And it's like it kind of keeps you tethered. Yeah. Yeah, really far away. Good luck to you. Hi.
My name's Claire Peretta. I'm a graduate student in the Digital Innovation and Marketing program. My program directors are right over there. I know you have a famously anti-social media stance, and I wanted to ask you if there are any situations going on in the world today that you wish, God, I wish I had a Twitter. I have so much material for this.
I understand what a valuable tool social media is in going into the future, a work tool. More the opposite. There are many times where I think things and are very angry about things, and I think, thank God I don't have a Twitter account. There should be like a delay. I've joked that I would happily sit on a board that approved Twitter licenses, like who can have one and who can't. Because it certainly tells you a lot about people about when they can't stop or when they can't help themselves. Who could I be talking about? But I get it as a social tool. For me, the thing that I always am like, what is this? And there's a great book that some of you may have read by Peggy Orenstein called Girls and Sex. Has anybody read that? And it's sort of talking about like your generation is just like so screwed because of social media, and it's like to curate your life on Instagram and Snapchat and stuff. But it's that thing for me. It's that thing of like if I was wishing like, happy birthday, Claire, you're the best. I'm like, what? Just call Claire. Like, why do I have to witness your celebrity friendships? Like, just what's happening? But I get it. Hashtag I get it.
Sure. Hi, I'm Emily. I'm a communications major. My question for you is, what's the most meaningful project you've worked on throughout your career and why?
That's a great question. The most meaningful, I would possibly say that a thing that I'm most proud of in terms of how long it's lasted and the kind of intention at its core was the movie Mean Girls. Yeah. Which is based on a sort of sociology book called Queen Bees and Wannabes by a very smart woman named Rosalind Wiseman. And when I called her to convince her she should let us turn the book into a movie, she made me promise her that it would be positive at its core, that the kind of mission statement of the book would be carried through, and it wouldn't just be the comedy of girls being horrible to each other. And so I feel like we really tried to do that and are continuing to try to keep that through as we move into making people sing it. Thank you.
Hi, Tina.
Hi.
I mean, Ms. Fey. Sorry, I'm nervous. So you talked about how you worked at the YMCA post-grad, and I was wondering what kind of things did you learn from not achieving immediate gratification or success after graduating?
Yeah, well, I have often said too that I feel really lucky that I wasn't on TV until I was 30, I think. Is that right? Yeah, I was about 30. There's a kind of a saying that people, whatever age someone gets famous, that is, they stop developing like emotionally. So that's why you see like a lot of child stars have problems, because for some reason, like if you get famous at 7, you got troubles. I mean, I think you, for one, and for me, you learned like how hard it is to have a real job, like a job that's rough hours and doesn't pay that well. I remember working at the YMCA, I would go to this place called Gigio's and get a slice and onion rings for lunch, and I'd be like, that was an hour. I just gave back an hour of my wages for a slice and onion rings. Didn't stop getting the onion rings. And so it makes you appreciate when you get to a better situation, you appreciate it more, but you also kind of feel like, if I had to go back to Gigio's, like I know I have it in me, right? So you understand like you could also just work and be fine. But yeah, I think it's good to have some regular jobs first before fancy jobs. Sure.
Hi, I'm Francesca. I'm undecided right now, and I'm also from Delco. I was wondering, how would the average person get their screenplay seen by the right people if they like don't have any connections at all?
That's a good question. The screenplay world is a little bit foreign to me. I think you can, if you have a screenplay, I think anyone can register their screenplay with the Writers Guild, and that's important to do because then someone can't steal it. My guess would be there probably are legit kind of contests that are way in. There's something called the blacklist, right? Which is I don't really know how you get on it, but I think, and then you try to find like a junior agent at an agency, whoever's the guy who was an assistant 2 days ago and now he's an agent, because that's the person who's going to be more open to reading unsolicited stuff. Hopefully that helps. Sure.
Hi, I'm Eileen. I'm a junior journalism major. I just wanted to ask you, like, for roles like, for example, your role in Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, how do you per se do research for that exact role? I really like that role because it was a journalism role. Right. And I just wanted to know how you do research for your roles, or how you get even ideas for your screenplays for like Unbreakable or Dirty Rock and whatnot.
That Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, that was based on a book called The Taliban Shuffle by a woman named Kim Barker, who actually was a coworker or employee of David Boardman's out at Seattle Times. So her book was the first and best resource. I read it lots and lots of times. I met with her a little bit. In that case, because we didn't physically go to Afghanistan, I tried to watch as many documentaries as I could. The screenplay was written by my friend Robert Carlock, who went deep on research, read probably 20 books, had meetings with military people, news people, just really getting to the bottom of how every little detail worked. And so we had confidence going in that that the screenplay itself was already pretty correct. And then you try to kind of, on the human level, just connect emotionally to who that character is and what they were feeling, and does it compare to anything that you've experienced in your own life. For Kimmy Schmidt, yes. That was a show that we actually developed for Ellie Kemper. Sometimes Robert Carlock and I developed that show, and they said, do you ever want to write for this actor? And we sort of kind of spent a week in our office just thinking about Ellie Kemper and she has this kind of all-Americanness and this strength but this optimism, and so we had some ideas of like, what could she have been? One was like, was she, baby Jessica who fell in a well grown up? Like, what we did something that the person who was like pushing past something, and that kind of led us to that character for her. Mm-hmm. Yes. I like gyms on South Street. Thank you.
Hi, how's it going? Oh, this is crazy. I'm Ross. I'm a junior media studies and production major. So I'm a writer for two comedy shows at Temple. One is sketch comedy, Temple Smash. The other is kind of...
Excellent.
The other is late night, Temple Tonight. And so I find myself just with these constant schedules of kind of writing, rewriting, interacting with other writers that I keep filling myself with all this kind of doubt that I'm not funny anymore or that an idea that I have isn't good enough. So with your experience, I guess specifically in SNL, but with all of your experience, how do you kind of get past that kind of roadblock that you get in your head?
I mean, the good thing is you're doing the right thing, which is you have a show that you have to contribute to, right? Because if you're in your room and you're just kind of musing and there's no deadline, it's very easy to spiral. But if it's like, we gotta say something, so let's try this joke, because it's, Lauren Michaels always says the thing about SNL is that the show doesn't go on because it's ready, it goes on because it's 11:30. It's true, and I think the other thing is something that I felt like I learned at Second City in Chicago, which is if you, once you like bomb a couple times, you realize like sometimes you're gonna eat it, and it's gonna feel really sweaty, and then you're just gonna go on. And so like freeing yourself from the idea of you have to have a perfect record, everything I write has to be perfect. Like sometimes you just gotta put something out there because you gotta try something. And just keep having deadlines is the best solution. Sure.
Hi, I'm Lydia. I'm a marketing major. First, I was wondering if you could sign my book and my poster.
Yes, I think we'll find a way to do that, yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.
And my question is, how do you deal with people who don't really understand your humor or take offense to your jokes?
I always think of, for me, a sense of humor is a real intelligence test, right? If you have a new boss or a roommate or whatever, I always kind of suss out like, okay, what do you like to laugh at? What works for you? And I never feel all the way comfortable around someone until I've made them laugh. I feel like I understand them once I've made them laugh in some way. Yeah, when people, the idea of taking offense at jokes, it's such a interesting topic. Like someone should do like a clinical study of like someone should do like a brain study when someone says like, I'm offended by this. Like we should see is there actual chemical change? Are you really feeling something, or you just know that you're supposed to feel something? Or also like, they're like, well, I'm offended by this. Okay, now what? Because I do feel like I feel like people should still be allowed to say whatever they want, because I would rather people show me who they actually are than be hiding behind a veneer of political correctness. If you're a jerk, I'd like to know.
Okay, hi, my name's Chiname. I'm a film major and art minor, so money.
Hashtag get money.
I was just wondering, for like writing and stuff, because I also want to be like a writer and showrunner. I was just wondering, what are some like basic rules that you like put for yourself, like to focus yourself when you're like starting like a script or something? Like what are like your basic rules, I guess?
For starting a script for like a TV series, trying to think of ideas for TV series, I like to think of bringing characters together who have different worldviews. So that's my thing. With 30 Rock, we had the triangle of Jack, Liz, and Tracy. And Jack's sort of privileged white male, Liz, single white woman, Tracy, African-American man who had started poor, was now very rich, a mix of entitled and underprivileged. And I thought this will be fertile to me, because for TV, you're thinking, okay, I now want to tell one story. I want to tell 144 stories, which is how many episodes of 30 Rock there were. And so I felt like, okay, these two, like whatever topic comes up, these two will disagree and he'll agree. Like you could mix them up in lots of different ways, and that would you start to get a sense of what feels fertile, and that characters all see the world differently and speak differently. You see a lot of shows where you're like, wait, everyone talks the same on this show. That's always a red flag for me. Good luck.
Hi! Oh my God, this is crazy. My name is Alyssa Mancuso. I am a freshman communications major. I want to say, girl, you look good today. Very impressed. And I want to know, if you could wake up tomorrow in the body of somebody else, like anybody else on the planet, dead or alive, who would it be and what would you do?
I know the answer is Dom DeLuise, but I have to think about why. I've been on a little Dom DeLuise kick lately because if you've never seen the movie Fatso, it's so good, and it's on YouTube, and it's only on YouTube, I think. And he gets to do a lot of on-camera eating in it, which is one of my favorite things to do. I'm going to stick with that, Dom DeLuise. But alive, preferably alive. Thank you.
Hi, Tina. Do you have like any jobs or internships or personal assistant positions? I will clean your shoes. I don't know how to clean shoes, but I'll figure it out somehow.
My shoes dirty?
No, that's not my actual question. I'm Yaz. I'm a sophomore political science and French major. And I can't decide if I want to be Liz Lemon or Frank Underwood. And I really need a major because I have to graduate somehow. And would your advice be to stay in poli-sci? Because I kind of want to do that sort of writing, like the things I see on Parks and Rec and SNL with your Palin sketch and everything. Or should I, switch to communications or writing? What would be your advice to someone like me who has no idea what they want to do with their major, but with their life?
Well, I would say go to what truly interests you more. Because if you're going to end up a comedy writer and you come in to meet with us about being a comedy writer and you have a political science degree, that's going to be a plus. But because we'd be like, oh, you go send your resume to Veep, right? And you go get a job on Veep. But also, whatever you feel the most passionate about, because the most important thing is that you're getting some kind of broader education that's going to open you up before you get pigeonholed into a job. That was no help. I would make a cootie catcher. Couldn't hurt. Yeah. Hello.
Hi. Hi.
Are you a Doogie Howser? Are you a college student?
No,
Okay.
I'm actually 11 years old.
Okay, cool.
Pretty sure I'm the youngest one in here. My name's Macy. I do not have a major yet, but I want to be a comedian like you, and I want to be on SNL. So my question is, what did you hate doing in your comedic training, but turned out for the best in the end?
What did I hate doing? Two things come to mind. One, I studied improvisation in Chicago at a couple different places, and the one thing that I always hated the most was sometimes people would have to do musical improv, like improvise a song or, God forbid, a rap. And I could never really do it, and it used to make me feel really lightheaded when I would have to try it. But it was important that I was forced to try. And then the other thing I would say is that writing, sometimes when you have to sit and write something and you don't really have a handle on it, that's really annoying, but you have to do it. So you just have to push through. Yes, hopefully we've got a system going here. And make sure your name is in it so it doesn't get lost. All right, cool. I like your shirt. Also, your hair is on point.
That girl is so cute. Oh my God.
You're like, how am I going to follow that?
Yeah. I don't think I can. She was pretty good. My name's Melissa Young, and despite my businesswoman apparel I'm wearing, I am a communications major. I actually got this blazer because I was really nervous to talk to you, and I know you wear blazers, so I'm like...
I almost wore a blazer today.
This is a big deal. You're like my second favorite person. Well,
who's the favorite?
No, but listen, you guys gotta let me finish, jeez. So you're my second favorite person next to my parents.
Sure.
So you and Jimmy Fallon are tied for second place.
I'll take
All right.
that.
All right. Sorry, I'll hurry up. My question is, do you still sit in on the auditions for Saturday Night Live?
Is that it, the question?
Yeah. It'll have more, but...
Ask the back half, too.
because I know you did. I always hear that story that Bill Hader tells about his Vinny Vedecci, about how you it was completely silent, and you just laughed out of nowhere. So I assume that you probably still did it. But I've been preparing for my Saturday Night Live audition since I was 12.
Yep.
So I was just wondering.
I can give you advice on that.
Yeah. What do you guys look for? Specifically.
Yeah, I used to sit in the room where people come and audition, and it is the toughest room because it's the empty stage of SNL, and you come out where the host stands, and there's every seat is empty except 4 people, and one of them's Lorne, and it's very, very hard to get a laugh in there. Not because anyone's doing it on purpose, it's just quiet, empty room. Yeah, I remember Bill his audition being very, very good. And I don't go physically there anymore, but sometimes the SNL producers will send me a link, and they say, the video link, here's 20 people that came in, let us, if you want to weigh in, just, I think, because we're all kind of family over there. The advice, sometimes I do talk to people, if you ever, and chances are, half of you will audition for SNL at some point, YouTube generation. I always tell people, because they have to come in and do a bunch of different characters, I always go, look in the mirror, who do you look like? Figure out how to talk like that person. Just literally look in the mirror, who do I look like? Okay. And then also to do characters, not premises. That's when people mess up all the time. They come in and they have a sketch premise of hey, it's a restaurant where everyone's dogs. I was well, how do we do that 4 times? You need to be dog boy. And then you can be in different places. Yes. Yeah. It's more we can use that. See, I remember sitting in Kristen Wiig's audition and being yep, oh boy, that's ready to go. That's ready to go. That's ready to go. Yeah. All right, good. Sure.
Hi. Hi. Stetson Miller, journalism major. So I had read that that 30 Rock was originally pitched as a show about cable news, and now you have a show coming out called Great News. Yeah. So I was wondering, did you have an interest in news, or do you find something funny about a newsroom?
It was originally, I pitched 30 Rock to this guy, Kevin Riley, as a pretty similar dynamic, but mostly the Jack-Liz dynamic in a news, cable news station, and he passed because he said he thought, he thought that the news at the time, we thought the news was pretty bad at the time. It's gotten so much worse, but I was it'll be a bummer to be connected to the news. But also he said to me, he's no, you have to write what you literally know. So I was always loath to write about a comedy show, but he sort of told me that I should. And then when I went back to try to re-break the idea, was when we came up with the thing of the Tracy Jordan character. And then that was that kind of opened up the world in the way I was talking about earlier. So I was oh, I think I can do this. I don't really the navel-gazing aspect of writing about writing, but it felt like we could get it more than just the comedy show, and the comedy show could just be kind of a useful backdrop. And yeah, Great News is a show that Robert Carlock and I are producing for our friend Tracy Wakefield, who is a comedy writer who wrote for 30 Rock, and she it's really sort of about her relationship with her mother, and it's a woman who works at a cable news place, and her mother is retired and gets an internship there. So we can look for that. It's Andrea Martin plays the mother. She's so funny. The backdrop, it was I was well, let's try it in 2016 and see if the news background works. See ya. Hello.
Hi, Tina. Oh my God, okay. I was fine online, and now that I'm in front of you, the heartbeat is tenfold. Okay, I'm Alyssa. I'm a senior here at Temple. I'm graduating May, and on the road to graduation, professors give you advice. You might not get your first job you want, but don't, no's are also a paved way to yes. So I want to know, on your journey to success, what was your biggest no, and what did you learn from it?
What was my biggest no? First of all, I will say, Alyssa, that if this makes you feel more comfortable, that I have a 5-year-old daughter, and Alyssa is her favorite name. Every doll she has, every toy she has is named Alyssa. So feel at home. Can you come to my house? I would say the biggest no I got in my career was when I was comedy improviser at this place called the Second City in Chicago, and there were 6 of us on stage, and I was lucky. I was in a company. It was among the people, and it was Scott Adsit and Rachel Dratch, and we were all in this thing together. And once a year, every 2 years, the producers from Saturday Night Live would come and scout and watch the show and see who might be a good performer to be on the show. And they came and they had no interest in me. And they were right. Like, there was no reason. I was meant to be a writer more than a performer. And so that, you kind of, as an improv person, you're working your whole time to get up to that moment where you get scouted by SNL, and it just was like a swing and a miss. So then it was like, okay, then I was forced to regroup, and that's when I contacted Adam McKay, who I had known from the Chicago improv community, and he was the head writer, and that's when I sort of made the transition of like, okay, how do I apply for a job as a writer? So just if, one door doesn't open, look for like a basement window. You can terrify everyone. Yeah. Okay, but only if you put like a rainbow barf coming out of me or something. Hi. Okay. Hello.
Hello. It's always hard to be behind the tall person on a mic. Hi, Tina. My name is Brian. I'm a senior journalism major, and you've talked about your writing experiences on SNL and writing movies like Mean Girls and shows like Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. I have a 2-part question. First part, how do you keep your writing so fresh?
I don't do it alone. So I have a fantastic staff, both shows. Robert Carlock is my writing partner. He's a machine and a genius. And I think we have a very good, I always refer to it as kind of a Spock and Kirk relationship, a push-pull there. But you have other people, and you rely on them, and I have a lot, actually, in the Kimmy Schmidt staff, there are like several Philadelphians. It's weird how it came out. There's a lot of Philly people in those. Meredith Scardino, so many people. Anyway, that's one way.
All right, and the second part of my question, can I get a selfie with you?
If you do a long-distance one like these ones, yeah.
Absolutely.
Word. Have a good day. Hi.
Hi, Tina. Sorry, I'm freaking out a little bit.
Don't worry about
So my name's John. I'm a journalism and Spanish major. I'm a sophomore. And so over the winter break last year, my 2 friends and I slept outside of 30 Rock for 3 nights in the winter to see you and Amy host the Christmas special.
How'd it work out?
Honestly, I would do it again just to see
You
you
got
and
in.
Amy.
You
Yes,
got- okay,
we
good,
actually
good,
got
good.
into the
Good.
we actually lucked out and we got into the live show. Even though I kind of learned what it feels like to be homeless, but it's all good. I would do it again for you in a heartbeat. And going into Saturday night, going into the studio was just like such a heartwarming, and like I literally just like teared up sitting in there because it's so amazing to be in there. So I kind of wanted to ask you, what do you miss most about SNL? Because obviously you've moved on, and you said it's like your family, and you guys you've met so many people there, and just like what do you look back on it fondly and like, oh my God, I was there?
Yeah, I mean, it is a very special place if you get to go and see a show live. It's really historic now. They're in their 41st season. It's the longest running show in the history of television, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, amazing. I think I would say the fun of doing the actual live show, the Saturday part of the schedule. I went and hung out last Saturday while they were working because I wanted to see what Alec was going to do. And I think I'm going to go hang out tomorrow night, too. So I do feel really grateful that it's still kind of an open door policy, and I can go bother them there whenever I want. Sure.
Hi. Oh, boy. You're Tina Fey. Shit, sorry. Had to get that out. Basically, also had to get out. Mean Girls changed my life.
Awesome, I love it.
So my question to you is, I'm also a big fan of Donald Glover. You might know him, Childish Gambino.
Yeah, I know Donald Glover, yes.
And
Atlanta.
I know you hired him. Oh, yeah, in Atlanta. I was about to say that. You hired him right outside of college to be a writer for you on 30 Rock, and now he's producing his own stuff, directing, writing. So my question to you is, I guess, 2 parts. Is one, what did he do to really get his foot in the door for you, or what really stood out for you from his writing and all that? And what would you have for tips for like young actors and writers themselves to really stand out, or really, look like a butterfly instead of like another, caterpillar in the room?
First of all, Donald, I remember Donald was literally still living in an NYU dorm when he started because he was an RA. And he was working at 30 Rock and going and sleeping in the dorm. And I believe Donald got his job from NBC Universal has. They're pretty committed to a diversity program for writers. And so if you take someone and it's their first job for an NBC show, you can hire a diverse candidate, and the money does not come out of your show's budget. So it was like this great thing for us. And Donald, it's funny because he was brought in, in theory because he was African American, but for us, he was our resident young person. We would be like, Donald, what would a young person say now? And he knew. And so, yeah, I'm really, really excited for him. Atlanta is fantastic. If you haven't seen it, I think Donald always really kind of knew his voice. He pitched things, and he used his experience growing up in Atlanta in a house full of his parents, but had a lot of foster kids. Like, he pulled from his real life experience a lot. I think that's useful no matter where you're from when you try to write stuff. And also for young people starting out, I always say, like, hard work in whatever job you're given in the place, better than this idea of like networking. It's like, just whatever job you have, just like work hard, be easy to be around, be a nice person, and then you're gonna kind of move up, as opposed to like trying to kiss people's butts. Yeah, good luck.
Hello, Miss Tina Fey.
Hello.
My name is Lavelle, and I'm a media studies production major, and I think you're really dope. I find you very attractive, and you're definitely in my top 10. But
thank you.
My question today is that like, what advice would you give to a college student on being themselves and chasing their dream?
Well, yeah. It depends on what your dream is, because if your dream's like to join ISIS, I can't help you. But if your dream is to be an artist or something, I mean, it's a mix of like work hard, pay your bills one way, but stay focused on what the actual thing is that you want to do. What do you want to do? I want to be an artist. You want like a music artist? Yeah, it is that thing of just keep doing it in any form you can, getting it in front of people in any way you can. Because I think everything, it's like building a muscle. So just never stopping, never stopping, never stopping. Good luck. Thank you. Hello.
Hi, Tina. How are you doing?
I'm all good. How are you?
Good. My name's Colin. I'm a senior media studies production major. Well, my first question was just, how are you this morning? Like, how
I'm
are
doing
you?
well, Colin. Thank you.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. So to 360, hopefully this isn't too morbid, but my second question is, looking back on your life, when you were 21 years old, I'm 21 years old. Actually, I'm 21 years old.
Nice.
Is there one thing that you regret doing or regret not doing when you're at my age?
At 21? I am lucky enough to say I don't have any super, like I'm gonna somehow get jinxed and have regrets from the past. No, I don't have any regrets. I think I was very lucky at 21, 22, I got to move to Chicago. I was very lucky that my family supported my like dumb desire to go take a college degree and use it to do improv in Chicago. No one tried to make me go to law school and stuff. So thankfully, I don't have any regrets. Thank you. I don't have any regrets, guys.
Hi, I'm Simon. I'm a freshman strategic communications major. Me and my sister try to be Liz Lemon every day. You're our hero. And I had like a serious like life advice type question, and I got asked.
Okay.
So I just want to ask, like, what's your like best Donald Glover story?
My best Donald Glover story. Donald Glover taught me what it means to wear your hat broke off. Is that still a thing? This is like, it's when you wear like, you get like a sort of trucker hat and you leave the tags on it and you wear it like a little bit sideways. And he said that was broke off. Now he's an old man now to you guys, so that might not be a thing anymore. Donald Glover, he also pitched one of my favorite jokes ever, but I can't remember what it was. The water bug, yeah, it's in Bossy Pants, because like we're pitching jokes on what Jenna was trying to teach Kenneth how to be a backdoor bragger And she says, like, for example, I'll say something like, I can't watch American Idol because I have perfect pitch. And Kenneth's response, which was Donald's joke, was like, Kenneth trying to be a backdoor bragger, so like, I can't watch American Idol because there's a water bug on my channel changer. And just the specificity of water bug and channel changer. It's a person from the South does not know that there's another word for that object. Sure. No, what's her name? What's your sister's name? Laura. Hi, Laura. Your brother brought the room to a stop for this. Sure. Hi.
Hi, I'm Paul O'Neill. I'm a senior physics major, and as an ex-summer stager, thank you so much for being here.
It's lovely to see you.
My question was, good or bad, what production of yours had the hardest writing process and why?
Oh, what show?
Yeah.
I mean, I would say 30 Rock was the most work because it was always kind of overly ambitious, and then we always had crazy production issues where we'd like write an episode and then say like, okay, we're going to shoot 2 days of this episode now, but then like Alec Baldwin, he only worked Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays. That was in his contract, which is like the contract I dream of. And so we're like, okay, we have to get Alec's stuff here. And then like, well, Matt Damon is in this scene, but he's shooting a movie where he's going to shoot it 6 months from now. And Tracy's in the hospital. Like, it was always just like a crazy, crazy, crazy amount of work to get that done. And also the fact that we did 22 of them a year people don't hardly do that anymore. Most shows like 10, 13, like British people do they're like, I did 6. I'm so tired. I'm really tired. I can't make any more than 6. Like, they've really given up over there. Sure.
So we have time for just one more from each mic. I'm sorry for the people below.
Okay, sorry. My name is Lizzie. I am a early childhood education major studying the science of communicating with toddlers without crying.
Yeah.
Oh
my gosh.
So first thing, 9 years ago, my 5th grade teacher told me that she knew you. Do you know Marlene Kimball?
Marlene Kimball is my best friend.
Okay, so she wasn't lying.
No, she probably lied about a lot of other things.
Yeah, we tried to call you, but you didn't answer.
She's my best friend.
Okay, second, actual, serious question. How do you deal with difficult people?
It's a good question. One, if you're going into a situation, a hiring situation, like you're starting a new thing or whatever, if you know someone's difficult, you don't hire them. Lorne Michaels used to say when we were hiring writers at SNL, he would say, don't hire anyone that you don't want to run into by the printer at 3 a.m. And it's so true. And I also feel, and this kind of nicely takes us back to my dad, because I think there's something about the way I was raised. For whatever reason, bullies sort of smell that they cannot bully me. People don't fuck with me like the way, and I don't know why, but I think it has something to do, especially I write about this in Bosnia, people who have met my dad, they always kind of go like, oh, well, that was your dad. Oh, okay. Like, they just kind of know, like, there's a support system there that I'm not going to be like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not going to fall apart, you know. And I think you kind of take difficult people, like, at the moment, like, not engage in their nonsense and just be like, hello, are we going to do our work today? And if not, like, kind of like a toddler, you may say, like, okay, if you need some time, I'm going to walk away. It's sort of like not engaging. Yeah. Sure.
Okay, last question.
Oh, great. Hi, I'm Scott Berkowitz.
Hi.
I'm a sophomore acting major.
Excellent.
And I'm also a summer stager, so
Excellent.
thank you so much. Yes, great. My question, when you are reading a script for a TV show or movie or watching an audition for an actor, what is the biggest difference between a good script or actor and a great one?
I think specificity of place, of character, of choice, someone making a choice. Because I think a lot of times you see TVs and movies that get very blurry. Like, these are the 18 friends work at a magazine. They all talk the same. So just any kind of specificity, I think, yes. We'll end it there.
All right. I'm sorry to the rest of you. Tina, we can't thank you enough for doing this, and I think you see there's a lot of Don Fey spirit in this
Yes,
new
there
generation of Temple students.
There definitely is.
No doubt he would have been really pleased and proud to have you here with them. So everybody, please join me in thanking Tina Fey.
Thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure, and good luck to you.